Live ColecoVision subscription service, which you'll find as part of the Max bundle with Paramount Plus. Everybody loves the ColecoVision subscription service, except that you have to also pay for ESPN at the same time, which kind of sucks. Speaking of things that no longer exist, remember when cable cost more than streaming services? Oh gosh, we really should go back to VHS. Things were just better in the 80s in every single possible way. Sure, you walked into a restaurant with your parents and you left smelling like an ashtray, but I would argue that it was worth it. And there had to be some kind of a residual high in there somewhere as a 9-year-old. And the 80s gave us Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes in a Half Shell, a great pinball machine. If you see one, you gotta play it, and give it some time. Feel the game, figure out how to get that multi-ball, and you'll keep this one going for a while. Good bang for the buck that doesn't kill you instantly once you figure it out. Befriend the turtles. Make friends with the turtles. Going back to my Gen X versus Millennial thing, like, was Gen X Ninja Turtles and like that weird like 3D animated Transformers show? To me, that's all like a Millennial thing. Like, I liked Power Rangers and like the campy Ultraman style, and obviously Pink Ranger was awesome. But I never really got into Power Rangers. Like, anyway, maybe we'll get a Power Rangers pinball machine in the future. I mean, that's certainly a big enough license. And like, there's at least there were originally 5 Rangers, which kind of fits into, you know, Stern's character-driven gameplay with these games where you choose one of the 4 turtles or one of the Star Wars characters like Han Solo or R2-D2. You can choose one of the Power Rangers. I choose you! And you chose to listen all the way through this podcast, so thank you. I'll see you next time on Classic Game Room, the podcast from an arcade somewhere stuck in the 1980s. Alright, just had a huge multi-ball, racking up all kinds of crazy-ass points here. And I think the extra ball is lit, so I gotta hit it. I got a free game, again. Total bonus, $3,275,000. Somebody wake these turtles up. Oh, I can enter my initials. Oh, awesome. Got one of the high scores. Yeah, baby. All right, baby. Got a pocket full of quarters, and I'm walking my way towards Pins Mechanical in Pittsburgh. That's right. All these great arcades. Gonna play some Godzilla. Just saw Godzilla X Kong yesterday and loved it. Be talking about that more during the podcast. But right now, I got to get my pinball game on. Let's go kick some monster ass. Welcome back to Classic Game Room, the podcast, where today I'll be talking all about giant monsters crushing things in pinball and movie form. That's right. It's Godzilla time. I mean, every time is Godzilla time, but maybe now more than ever. It's a Godzilla fan's dream these days. Over the past 6 months, I think we got 2 new Godzilla movies. The new Godzilla pinball machine from Stern is fabulous. There's a bunch of Godzilla comic books out there, and a TV show. Monarch, or whatever it was called. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to the title. I did watch it, though. I'll talk about that in a bit. For starters, the new Godzilla game from Stern, well, newish, I think it came out last year, but the newish Godzilla game from Stern is fabulous. And yes, all of their new games seem to be licensed games based on some property that you're familiar with, like Jaws or Star Wars or the Foo Fighters machine. They've all got their own vibes. If you like Godzilla, you're gonna love the Godzilla machine. I mean, if you like Godzilla and pinball, you're gonna like the Godzilla machine. It captures the atmosphere and like the campiness of the classic Godzilla films. I suppose I should specify that. It's really more about the old school films, like the 70s, 60s and 70s movies. Like if you're into Gigan and like Hedorah and King Ghidorah, then this one's for you. If you're into the more serious Godzilla films, which I don't think anybody is, but if you're into the more serious Godzilla films, then probably not. If if you're a big fan of 1998's Godzilla, I'm sorry. The pinball machine has the spirit and the atmosphere of Gigan. I think that's what's important. If you like Gigan like I like Gigan, you'll be all into this machine.
This is the Sterling Radio Network reporting live from Tokyo. Godzilla has been spotted again.
Does Godzilla ever sleep, or does he spend all of his time dreaming about crushing Tokyo and other major cities? Now, we're doing radio here instead of television, so if you want to see what this game looks like, check it out online. It's on Stern's website. It's a really beautiful game. I love the artwork. The back glass is great. The playfield looks really nice. And it's not like they had any shortage of cool monsters to work with. Like, they have all the monsters, or at least a whole lot of the monsters in the game. And as you might expect, you fight them, you battle the monsters, and you knock down buildings and score big points with multi-ball and activate Mecha Godzilla. It's so much fun. Like the other recent Stern games, there's a video screen built into the machine showing clips from the movies and like the monsters fighting each other and smashing things. And it's kind of hard to watch the game and the screen at the same time, but the more you play, the more you get into the vibe and just get the whole experience of Godzilla. It's usually fairly obvious what it is you're supposed to do. The game's shouting at you while also blinking, so like I've said for years, aim for the blinky things, especially when they start to change color and it's like red. Definitely go for the red things or the purple ones. Sometimes they change to yellow. Like the other Stern games, there's a bunch of versions of this Godzilla machine out there. I'm playing the pro version here, but the premium one's got some nicer bells and whistles for sure. The bridge that comes down makes a huge difference, I think. But they all play more or less the same.
We are tallying up the damage done to the city thus far.
So if there's one nearby, go out of your way to play some Godzilla. If you're a fan of the movies, I think you're gonna love it. Smacking the building in the middle of the playfield over and over again eventually activates multi-ball. And for those of us who are only mediocre at pinball, that's the best way to get a lot of points real fast. So just keep smacking that building like Godzilla would do anyway. Bring it down, and then get your Godzilla multi-balls on. There's a lot of other objectives that you can complete if you can actually aim. Keep the ball in play, and try not to laugh too hard. The game is hilarious. I think the inclusion of the footage from the movies combined with a campy announcer just makes all the difference. It's such an enjoyable game. It should really come as no surprise that I'm a huge fan of the Godzilla pinball machine. It's got Godzilla on there, Mecha Godzilla, Megalon, King Ghidorah, Titanosaurus, Mothra, King Caesar, Ibira, so many more. I don't even know that one. Kumanga? Is that Godzuki? Godzuki kind of sucks though. I don't know. I never really liked Godzuki. There's the Oxygen Destroyer. Love that you bring down the building. Really nice art design in this game. Look it up.